can't wait to show you guys the opportunities you have with 936 square feet. This was my old house and we're gonna take a tour. This is Mike Azam with the Azam Group. I'm excited to show you guys and take you through a tour of our most recent transition, which is actually my primary residence into a short-term rental. So for any of you guys that have been following, we recently moved into our new home, a beautiful home out in Richfield, but we couldn't figure out what to do here. We didn't want to sell, and part of what we've done here is create an environment around low maintenance. With all of the updates that we've done, and all of the nicer finishes here, and most importantly, the location, we'll get into that in a little bit. We felt like this was the perfect opportunity to add another short or mid-term rental property into our portfolio. I'm very excited to show you guys around. I'm excited to show you guys some of the renovations we've done, some of the finishes that we've tackled, why, how, and what we've done. Hopefully give you guys a little bit of context to help maybe improve some of the situations you guys are in as well. So back in 2018 or 19, we bought this house originally just to flip it. But after a few visits to the home and we realized how convenient the location was, we said, screw it, let's just move in. So we scrapped all of our plans and just revamped the renovation list. We turned this house into a 4-bed, 3-bath, and being in the heart of West Park, close to the highway, close to the airport, close to the metro parks, and then soon enough, close to the new Cleveland Browns stadium that's gonna be literally right down the street, basically. Being close to the highway, airport, minutes from the metro park, the location was extremely convenient for us. And with what I do in my profession and in our industry, I've got to be flexible. I want to be able to get to anywhere I can within 10 to 15 minutes. That's what this house gave me the opportunity to do. It's so close to everything. So we decided, let's just move in here. One of the things that I'm most proud of with this house is we made it extremely functional. We maximized every inch of 936 square feet. But what's great is because it's a ranch home, we also were able to maximize the 936 square feet that's below ground in that basement. Again, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, with a lower level that is essentially an entire another living suite. With all of the renovations, and not just from a finish standpoint, but some of the CapEx that we were able to do, this house is extremely low maintenance. And again, another reason why we felt like this is the perfect opportunity to add another property into our short-term rental portfolio. So what's gonna make this transition a little bit easier is we just left a lot of our furniture here. Pictures, fixtures, plants, a lot of the living room furniture and bedroom furniture left behind. We wanted to make our move a little bit easier, but also we wanted what felt like home here to feel that way for whoever's staying here as well. Any of the guests, short or long term, we wanted them to have the same experience and all the way down to the couches that we've had for many years here. This has been our home for 5 or 6 years now. We created memories and we want whoever is staying here to be just as comfortable as we have been. I was looking to capture an open concept first floor. That is tough to do in these older homes. We gutted this top to bottom. Okay, down to vaulting the ceilings to give us a little bit more space. And one of the things that we did was kind of reconfigure the layout. Obviously the kitchen's updated, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, but we moved everything over a bit and made sure that we wrapped cabinets all the way around to maximize the space that we had here. And one of the biggest things we did to maximize space is we created a nice breakfast bar. There used to be a formal dining area here. And guys, for years, I actually didn't even have a table here. We had no dining table. We're gonna get one added for the midterm rental. But for us, we just felt like it was more functional to create a designated space that flows into the rest of the living space. One of the biggest things we did here, not just vault the ceilings, but we actually took walls down that separate the living room from the kitchen. You don't see an open sight line down to your basement, but with 936 square feet, I wanted to kind of create an extension of the living area, not just of the first floor, but also of the basement into the first floor. So now when you walk into the house, it feels like everything's so open, including the basement. I actually can see, I actually have sight lines into part of the basement, which is rather rare. One of the main components of tying it all together, after taking the walls down, we actually installed the same granite that we did in the kitchen so that it all flowed together. So the banister around the basement walls, or the walls that lead to the basement, have the same granite as the kitchen. Again, just so that everything flows together. We actually moved the kitchen over about, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet. And what it did is it allowed us then to also expand the slider door out. We wanted to maximize some of the lighting as well. And this has been a real big plus for us. I mean, this is the main door we go in and out of, but it also gave us nice sight lines from the front right to the back door. Again, keeping the theme of everything just flowing together. Even though we moved the kitchen over a little bit, we still were able to maximize space because we wrapped it around both walls. That wall originally actually had nothing on it. It was just the side wall when you walk in through the door. So we took a void that had really no function and added cabinets and made the kitchen a little bit bigger. So we're able to get a bigger door, more of an open floor plan without compromising the kitchen space. Part of the renovation of the kitchen was obviously maximizing the space, and we needed to add cabinets, add counter space. But one thing that we did that was really creative, there was one window here, okay? And again, it just served no purpose. You have your stove here, and you're gonna have a window right behind your stove, and it just didn't really make a lot of sense. And we wanted to tile it all the way up just as a nice little finish. So we got rid of a window, but I added 2 more windows, and that's when we got creative and added the 2 horizontal windows, which you don't really see much, and they still function and they open, and it's real cool. We were able to still add the extra natural light. You still get the airflow of having the windows, and it still allowed us to continue with the tile backsplash, again, without losing extra windows in a house. Also, by eliminating the window and having us tile this and tile the back wall, it gave us an opportunity to add the hood vent. So this window is a sacrificial lamb that gave us an opportunity to still have the tile, run it all the way around, get a hood vent installed, but we were still, again, able creatively to add these, kind of pocket windows, we'll call them. They're cute. It's nice little lighting. It gives us a little bit of extra light in this corner. Otherwise, that would be rather dark around the bends here in the kitchen. We wanted to finish off with some open shelving. It was a nice breakup of a very large space. So again, we really paid attention to almost every detail here by re-drywalling this entire first floor basically and vaulting the ceilings. It gave us an opportunity to add lights wherever we wanted. So we ran recessed lighting symmetrically all the way around the living space. Pendant lights above the breakfast bar, obviously a couple of nicer fixtures. We went a little bit higher end on the ceiling fan. That was one of our favorite fixtures as well. We did pendants above the stairway. In hindsight, I wish we would have done pocket lights above these as well. Felt like it was maybe a little bit too much, but again, we wanted to tie the pendants from the breakfast bar to here. Later on down the line, I might just add some pocket lights there. You guys tell me, do you think it's too much, or should we have just done with some pocket lights there? We were even able to add 2 wall sconces on that large wall that separates the bedrooms and the bathroom for nice mood lighting. Again, we wanted to have nice natural light. We wanted brightness during the day, and then at night we wanted to have different types of mood lighting, being able to illuminate various parts of the house. With 936 square feet, I feel like we were able to kind of keep everything open, but compartmentalize, important sections of the living space. So what we thought was, I need to break this up. So we actually cut out the section there directly center of the wall, just to kind of break it up a bit. And I'm happy with it. I felt like it served its purpose. We have a picture and a couple of vases up there, but there's actually an outlet behind it. And the plan was to install, like an electric fireplace, and I still may do that at some point. But I felt like that was a nice little touch to that back wall, just to, again, kind of break it up a bit. And then we, finished it off with the 2 wall sconces on both sides. New baseboards, we went with the 6-inch instead of the 4-inch. Again, everything a little bit more updated. We want the updated outlet covers and switch covers, USB outlets in almost every room. We really wanted to make this functional. The ceiling fan is one of my favorite fixtures. That thing goes up, or that thing's on in the spring or summer. I mean, there's a lot of airflow that comes in through here. Updated doors, keyless locks. I never carried a key around. I got my one car key, a fob for my office, and we use the combo lock to get in here. So that was always a nice touch. And that's gonna be easier for, obviously, an Airbnb guest. Nobody wants to fiddle around with keys. Well, it's cold, snowy, or even have to worry about losing them. So the previous owners here, I think, ran a kennel. They had, from what I remember, it was like 5 or 6 dogs, a dozen cats. I mean, animals, rabbits, chinchillas, hamsters, not in a cute way. This place was gross. We had to run ionizers here for about a month just to help get the smell out. That was a catalyst in why we had to demo everything. I mean, we demoed everything down to the subfloor. This place was down to the studs. Subfloor was removed, baseboards obviously, and it was gross. We were ripping out damaged drywall that was saturated with animal urine. And we, for about the first year, could not get past the smell, and that's why the renovations took so long. On one hand, it was a pain in the butt, but on the other hand, it gave us an opportunity again to recreate this house in the way that we wanted to. I love hardwoods, and you guys have seen some of my other videos. I just like, I can't get over it. They're low maintenance, they're timeless. So instead of going back with LVP, after we installed new plywood and new subfloor, we actually went in with brand new hardwood. So these are not refinished. They're out of the box hardwoods. I have one regret. I wish I'd have went with the bigger plank hardwoods. I don't know why I went this route, but happy nonetheless. But what you guys see with some of the finishes, again, like we went custom on a lot of this stuff. You know, you don't see transitions with real wood. Like we matched the hardwoods, we matched the transitions. Even in the kitchen with the tile, we did custom bullnose with metal. And we had to ship these in to install and wrap them around so that you don't have edges peeling over, so you don't have the awkward transitions around the tile to the wood. It was really important to make sure that everything was done perfect here. And this is, again, one of the nicer finishes that has held up. You know, if you do things the right way, and they last. And this is one of the things that we were trying to accomplish here with this house. So one of the themes that you see with this house is, you know, each wall's got things hanging on it. Okay, whether it's coat hangers, whether it's wall sconces, pictures, or even open shelving. You know, again, with 936 square feet, it is important to maximize every inch. So this is kind of the theme with the house. I could argue there's open shelving in every room. Instead of having a bulky entertainment stand, you know, we did a floating one so that, again, you know, there's not stuff hanging off the floor. We don't even have a table. Right? It's as funny as that is. You know, for decorations, we wanted floating shelves, or, you know, even just to hide cords around it. In the kitchen, instead of running corner cabinets, we did open shelving. And again, it ties into it. These are the same wooden shelves in the kitchen and in the living room. So it ties together, it's functional, and less clunky. And in a small house, we wanted to make sure that we try to capture that theme. So interestingly enough, what I get from a lot of people in terms of questions is, you know, Mike, it seems dangerous. You know, when you walk in through your side door, you're not worried about like falling down your basement stairs. First of all, I fell down these stairs and it has nothing to do with it. I've fallen down stairs in every house that I've been in. But nothing's changed from that standpoint. This door's always been here, this side door. This stairway's always been here. So whether there were walls here or not, you could have fell down the stairs anyway. You know, you walk in through the door and you see your basement. The only difference now is I just have more sight lines. So I walk in through my door and I see everything. As opposed to I walk in and I see walls. Walls, steps to the basement, and then if I turn around a corner, then I can see the kitchen. I wanted the opportunity to be able to have sight lines throughout the entire house, and, which is rare, actually have sight lines into the basement, because again, you guys are gonna see in a little bit, I wanted that to flow. I wanted the basement to be an extension of the living area. Let's keep walking through so I can show you guys the rest of the house. So part of recreating the floor plan here, and again, you know, now it's a 3-bathroom house. We rebuilt this wall and actually moved it back a little bit. So it tightened up the bathroom, but this is important because this allowed us to make that door into a 60-inch door and have more space in here. But we had a dilemma. We needed to make sure that we had a full bathroom. So one of the things that we did is we actually eliminated the chimney here. And by eliminating the chimney, we were able to move everything over a little bit and still fit in here a full bathroom with tub shower combo. Funny enough, we never used the shower, not once, but obviously it's nice to have an extra bathroom in here. And again, no space untouched, we still were able to fit in a nice little linen closet with a essentially almost like a pocket door. Wanted to be able to still provide comfortability to everyone that's living in here. With the theme of the house, again, we wanted, floating shelves. We wanted, to maximize space. So we went with the floating vanity in here and matched the granite from the kitchen into here. So 3 bedrooms, not gonna go into each bedroom. We have to install some furniture in the other 2 anyway, typical bedrooms. This is the master bedroom, and we have same ceiling fans in each one. Again, we left a lot of the furniture, bed, dresser. We took a couple of little pieces here and there, but we wanted to make the transition as seamless as possible. This is an old school TV, it's about 20 years old. So we're getting a new TV in here because I don't even know if it works anymore. But aside from that, standard renovations, new doors throughout, new hardware. But what I want to show you guys, the 3rd bathroom that was creatively maneuvered. In here originally was a toilet and a sink, so very small powder room, which honestly I was a little surprised. Remember, in that full bathroom, I talked about maximizing space, but one of the things, I not only needed to make more space in the kitchen, but I needed to make more space in here because we wanted to make it into a full bath. So we actually moved that wall out, and by getting rid of the chimney, going to high efficiency appliances, furnace and hot water tank, I was able to add a shower in here. So we moved the layout around a little bit and installed a nice tiled corner shower with custom doors, but still had enough room to go vanity and toilet in here. As I mentioned previously, again, corner shelving, open shelving, that was the theme in this entire house. Even in each shower, we have corner shelving installed for, toiletries and whatnot. But very proud of this bathroom because this just wasn't here. And we were able to, again, take a 3-bed, 1.5 bath and turn it into a 4-bed, 3-bath. And this is one of the additional bathrooms we're able to recreate. And in a situation like a Airbnb, short-term rental, having an ensuite, extremely advantageous. This is gonna help separate this listing from some of the competition. In each closet, again, 936 square feet. You're gonna hear me say this a lot. We have closet organizers in almost every bedroom and the basement closet. We wanted to create some functionality, organization, and with drawers and shelving, this is ideal for anyone that's here temporary or for the long run. This is the room where we've kind of pieced and parted some of the furniture that we have in some of the other properties. We're renovating a couple of other homes, and we took out a couple of pieces that we felt like we could utilize here in the 2 vacant bedrooms, or in the 2 empty bedrooms. Some old dressers, mattress. We're gonna get a bed frame. This helped us minimize some of the stuff we had to purchase out of pocket. There's a big dresser behind this mattress. And obviously, we'll have to add some new linens and whatnot. But when you're creating an Airbnb, you want to try and get creative with some of the furniture that you're using. You can't just go out and buy all new furniture every single time you're putting it in there. With all the renovations that we did here and the renovations we're doing at the new house, we want to try to be as budget conscious as possible. So the theme of the upstairs that we talked about, I wanted everything to flow together, but I also wanted to kind of create that environment going down into the lower level. With 936 square feet, I needed this space to feel like it's an additional living suite. I wanted this to feel like it's another house. I didn't want it to feel like a basement. So part of this was tying that first floor right down into the stairway. And what we did, we only did it on one wall strategically, was we installed shiplap going up the stairway, even at the bottom of the step, so that this entire wall and stairway going down to the basement all ties and flows together. And what it did was, again, all the way down the shiplap, including the post. And we just wrapped it all the way down the wall. So from the top of the stairs all the way down, the same shiplap, so that when you're walking down into the lower level, you feel like it all connected together. So you don't see a lot of basement spaces that function like an entire living suite. We essentially created another living room, a second living room, TV, couches, chairs, rec space. It flows right into a nice dining space with a little kitchenette area, pantry there, closet organizer there in the utility space. and a nice little workstation. We actually had a computer and a desk down here, and we'd periodically work. It was kind of like our second office down here. But again, every space was utilized, was functional here. What we wanted to do here is add the extra bedroom, but instead of having a door that kind of separates the space, we felt like the barn door did two purposes here. It was a nice focal point, a nice finish to the room. It kept up with the theme with the shiplap and the darker flooring, but also still gave the privacy of a bedroom without being clunky and having a door that opens in and out. This gave us that fourth bedroom that I was referring to earlier. Again, we want this to feel like a bedroom. So custom closet organizer with motion lights in the closet. I want someone that's staying in a basement bedroom to not feel like it's a basement. I want them to feel like this is the fourth bedroom. And if anything, this actually has the most closet space in the house. So whoever stays out here gets the most storage space. So separate living space. This is where the third bathroom comes in. This was actually the most renovated bathroom of all three of them, and the one that we use the most. Kept the upstairs bathrooms clean. Interestingly enough, we never used either shower upstairs. We only used this bathroom. It's the biggest, nicest, but also helped keep the house clean. One of the things that I wanted was a shower that actually had space. I'm 6'3", and I always got tired of hitting my elbow, like even right now, just hitting my elbow against the walls, shower walls. It was so annoying. So we actually installed a custom 6-foot shower. And this is the one we primarily use. This was like the bathroom of my dreams. I actually had room to maneuver around in it. And it really matched the rest of the theme of the bathroom with the blue. We did even the blue tile on the floor here that matches with the blue vanity and the blue light. You know, this was a very important piece. If we're gonna have a living space in the basement, if we're gonna have the basement as an additional, suite with the house, we needed to make sure that we had a bathroom that kind of fit that theme. Even the laundry room was done with a little bit more attention. Custom open shelving on both walls, left the towels. Again, just maximizing space here. We made sure to have cabinets here for storage, for folding station. We kind of strategically maneuvered where the sink and the laundry area was, even even a place to hide the trash can and the dirty laundry. We wanted this place, whether it's the utility room or the laundry room or the kitchen, to be updated, to be appealing, to be comfortable. Even maximized the space underneath the steps and did some shelving in there to make sure that the storage is kept up in an organized fashion. So, and with the motion light in there too. So, I talked about leaving some of our furniture here. We left the couches, the rugs. We still need to figure out what to do with this empty space here. We had some workout equipment. I think that's probably what we're gonna go with. I think we have a gaming station we're gonna install here as well. We'll figure it out, but I'd say about 80% of the house was furnished. So it makes our transition a lot easier. I wanted to go over kind of what we did with the ceiling here. I talked about the pets in an earlier part of the video. And one of the things that we had to do is we had to seal all of the joists in the wood with a oil-based kills to try and hide the smell, seal the smell, so to speak. And this was repeated. This took repeated applications after repeated applications. Guys, for 6 months, I'm telling you this, we were dealing with the smell. For 6 months, it was just a lot of trial and error trying to figure out how to get rid of the smell in addition to all the demo. What it also did is it gave us an idea on how to better use this basement space. Rather than installing drywall and almost eliminating 2 to 3 inches of space, we just kept it open. We installed can lights throughout. We painted again with a nice matte finish so that it looked a little bit better. And what we did here that we started doing a lot of our rehabs, we took baseboards, we flipped them, so they're up the same baseboards, but upside down, and we wrapped it around the ceiling. This helped us finish up the space. It actually hides that the ceiling's unfinished. It's nice, like a crown molding almost around the ceiling. And we were able to avoid eliminating some of that headspace that we have in the ceiling. So I don't know if most people would even notice that the ceiling's not covered because of how we're able to do some renovations around it with the lights and the paint and the crown molding. This was, a huge part of making this space feel warm, finished.